Yo, riddle me this, man. Pertaining to possibilities and things that are possible. A world that suffers, hunger, that there's world hunger, yet we're going out into space. Okay? We haven't even solved our own problems of this world. Considering UFOs, extraterrestrial life, how and why, considering all the issues we have in the earth? When does that become prominent more than at its most prominent, being a side piece on the news? When does it become mainstream? When is there nothing to report? Consider the crimes that happen in a day and the concerns of an individual's mind and their streaming networks and platforms. What do you think they are consuming inside of that head? What do you see when you go out in the public? Take, for instance, I leave my house for 3 hours a day to go to the gym. 9 a.m., I've already walked, 8 miles and done hundreds of sets. Okay? How many times am I going to run into an individual? Meaning, how many times in my life out of the 3 hours a day, all right, which generally I get back home around 7 a.m. How many individuals am I going to come across in my life to the point where it's obnoxious how many times I cross paths with the individual, as in being interrupted where I must stop? This includes cars that no longer take concern for pedestrians, which is the natural law of this country, in which I'm constantly waiting for vehicles rather than ever having the right of way because people are so absent-minded. Let me ask you this, those of you who are targeted, how many times with the videos you consume on YouTube do you watch other YouTubers or influencers go out into society or travel the world and they don't have any of the conflicting issues that you face on a day-to-day basis at extreme scarcity? How is this possible? How is it that individuals around these individuals that are influencers in these YouTube videos you watch face or speak of frustrations that you may have experienced that are not targets? That's a little bit odd, don't you think? Never, never, ever. They never bring up anything. And when I watch these individuals and the crowds that they're amongst when they go to restaurants or whatever, the individuals there all seem to be with it together, having common sense. But in my surroundings, individuals are completely devoid, damn near, even to the point where walking proves to be a difficulty. All right? To stay out of the way, okay? To stay out of the way. If somebody like me, not saying I'm the biggest guy, but approximately like 180 pounds, and I'm jetlining through an area at the speed of a ballpoint pen gliding across a page, okay, where they will get in my path, okay, as if not to see me. One gentleman almost ran into me yesterday. He literally changed his course of path to be aligned with the same path that I was on. I said, hey, man, I've been walking on this path the entire time, a straight line. He was startled to see me, even though he was looking forward. How do you miss a 180-pound black man? Approximately. Okay? How is that possible? Not the biggest guy, but I'm definitely not the smallest guy. And I definitely move with a lot of energy. Most people would decide to move out the way rather than to be struck. And I used to do this, but now I'm starting to say, you know what? Forget about it. If somebody wants to be hit, they'll be hit. And that's not me being difficult, but it's just like, how is this reality possible? In other words, what I'm presenting to you is it would appear that this is a false reality. I don't think this reality is real. I think that there's individuals within the reality that are real, and these individuals that are not a part necessarily of the world are going through targeting. All right. We are as outcasts. But in terms of the Bible, it would seem that it would describe dispositions out of wisdom and observation. All right. But I'm not sure if immediately these things that has happened to me, this Lemony Snickets, this series of misfortunate events that we experience, how many misfortunate events can one person experience and that be normal? It's impossible. Else other people would be struggling as you would. So the only thing that would define us is that we're somehow on the outside, whether that's a fourth dimensional construct pertaining to time and we're time traveling, or this entire reality is false, in which it would seem. It's very interesting to me, considering the broadness of humanity and how many different individuals that they are, that this is a very small, dwindling group of so-called targeted individuals. All right. And we recognize spirits, and we recognize psychology, and we recognize all sorts of many different things, okay, as if we are excluded from the world and the world is conscious of their exclusion of us, but of what we're excluded for, there's no reason. What reality could this particularly happen? How could this particularly happen? It's impossible. There's too many anomalies of very bizarre events in which we construct our reality that we've begun to accept and create reasons for their reasons in which it would happen, when these things absolutely would not happen whatsoever. So how do we define our time here on earth as our years are going by day, okay, as actual life that will be counted against our life towards our mortality? You know, I'm prone to say that these years do not count, okay? And by observation, if it's not time travel, okay, then it's got to be something else. But people don't run into me. That's something that generally doesn't happen, okay? And this happens on a consistent basis. There's a lot of interceptions and interruptions, you know, in the few places I travel. I'm not really a incel, but of this world, where would I go?